Today I'm not by my fire, but I couldn't do a cartridge comparison video without a fire, so here it is. Welcome, and today we are going to review the 308 Winchester versus the 7mm-08 Remington. This is currently the most popular bolt-action rifle in America, the 308 Winchester. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it became the most popular and why it's so popular. Let's first start by looking at its predecessor, the 30-06. And right here you can see it says M1 Garand. Little history lesson. The M1 Garand was a semi-auto rifle that the U.S. military used in World War II. And it is probably the most decorated and sought after weapon in World War II, at least on the American side. It shoots a pretty large bullet in the 30-06. So the speeds that you're going to get with this, it's kind of a watered down version of what you're used to for a 30-06. So max velocity is going to be around 2,700 feet per second. And the U.S. military, while they liked the 30-06, what they really wanted was a more efficient cartridge, a smaller case that could give almost identical performance to the 30-06 or the M1 Garand. So Winchester, we'll go back to the 308, Winchester set out to make a very efficient cartridge that was extremely, well, not extremely, but smaller than a 30-06. So it's a half-inch shorter, the casing, and it gives almost the same power. So with hand loads, at a 150 grain bullet, you can get a 30-06 to go over 3,000 feet per second. With a 308, you can get it to go 2,800 feet per second. That is extremely good for how small this case is. That is one of the best things about this 308 is it's extremely efficient. It's not the most powerful round by any means, but it's very efficient and it has a light recoil for the power you're getting. With how popular the 308 casing is, it led to Wildcat cartridges. Some of them that you've heard of with 243 and even the 7mm-08 Remington. The case is extremely efficient, and so Remington decided to sell it commercially in 1980 as a 7mm-08. So what this is the 308 casing necked down to a 284 bullet or a 7mm bullet. So let's go ahead and look at what the 139 grain and the 150 grain bullet will go. So basically a 140 grain bullet is going 2,900 feet per second, which is pretty darn good. Again, it's efficient. 150 grain bullet or 154 grain bullet, it's going the exact same speed as the 308. So a lot of people love this because it's going to have smaller recoil than the 308, and the BCs are just better in the same size bullets. Let's go ahead and look at the 308 Ballistic Chart. So this is going to be with a 168 grain bullet that has a BC of 0.525. The muzzle velocity coming out is 2,750 feet per second, and that energy is almost 2,800 foot-pounds of energy. That recoil is 17. So let's go ahead and look down the chart, and as you can see, for hunting purposes, you're good to shoot up to elk-size game about 300 yards. I wouldn't be shooting anything, at least elk-size game, past 300 yards. I'm not the best shot, you guys know that. and the energy just isn't where I would like it to be. So let's go ahead and look down here at 1,000 yards. Just a second. Okay. You have, when you're zeroed in at 100 yards, you're going to have 347 inches of drop at 1,000. So quite a bit. It is that heavier 30 caliber bullet. Your energy is going to be 654 foot-pounds, and your speed is 1336. So it's decent. A lot of people do long-range shooting with the 308 because of that mild recoil. But I think it definitely excels better as a hunting round than a long-range bullet. But there are people that will dispute that. Let's go ahead and look at the 7mm-08. So the 7mm-08, we're shooting a 150 grain bullet with a BC of .574. So it's a little bit better BC with a smaller bullet. It's entering out of the muzzle at 2,800 feet per second, and that recoil is even more mild than the 308. So as a hunting round, it's really similar to the 308 in that I wouldn't use it past anything 300 yards or more. This gun is an amazing deer rifle. You're kind of pushing it with elk, but it can do it. But as I said, I wouldn't do anything past 300 yards with them. Where this will beat the 308 is in long range. So let's go ahead and look down out to 1,000 yards. Okay. When it's zeroed in at 100, you're going to have 314 inches of drop compared to 341 inches of drop with a 308. So the bullet is not dropping as much, and it's also going a little bit faster, about 100 feet per second faster. And look at that, even the energy is a little bit more. So that's the advantage to a 7mm bullet, and that is why this little guy is so popular. Let's recap. So both of these are great little cartridges. The 308 is a little bit better for hunting, just a little bit, and the 7mm-08